Hey there, I'm Di, and today I'm going to be customizing Ikea stuff. I'm also recording on a new microphone today, so I hope it works. Sound quality normally in my videos is not great because I just use the built-in microphone on the camera, whereas I've brought myself a Blue Yeti, and I hope I don't have to do anything else except plug it in, turn it on, and away we go. Soon find out. About a year ago, I did some online shopping with Ikea, and I was looking for things that I could paint on and customize. And I came away with a couple of items that are pretty cool. Well, I think they're pretty cool anyway. So the first item I got was this clock. Just a nice plain basic clock. Only cost me like $2.50. Thought it'd be pretty cool to customize. Got a couple of ideas that I could do. The next item is this stone looking eggs, I would call them. And they're like Russian nesting dolls. So you've got an egg, inside an egg, inside an egg. The other item I got is the black globe. I was really excited when I saw this online because I thought this will be really cool to customize, to put some sort of design on. So it arrived, I'm like, yes, great. What's all these fabulous ideas I'm gonna have for this? And it was like elevator music playing in my head. No ideas came. And it's probably about a year later, and finally a few weeks ago, a couple of ideas popped into my head. I'm actually sure there was another item I had. What was it? Oh, that's right. It's this guy, who we shall name Hans. Get it? I think these are actually supposed to be for like drawing. You can pose them and then sketch them. God, I don't know. I don't use it for that. I actually paint on them like I did with Roger up there. Yeah, I thought Roger could have a friend and I can paint him. That's another option. So 4 options all together. I was kind of hoping I'd get 2 done in one video, but it's going to depend how long it takes. So I think this time I'm going to go for this one because the ideas for this came to me most recently, so that's got me a little bit excited. So the first idea I had for this one was to actually paint a galaxy on it. The other idea I had was to actually paint a 3D color wheel. In my head it makes sense and it should work, but I'm just gonna have to be pretty accurate and precise, and I'm not a very accurate, precise sort of person. So which one do I want to go for? The galaxy or the color wheel? I think the galaxy would be easier, quicker. The galaxies have been done a lot, whereas I did Google a globe color wheel and I can't say that anyone else has done it. Maybe because no one else is stupid enough to do it, but
hey, that's where my brain goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the color wheel idea. The idea is screaming at me louder than the other one, so yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna need to do with this is do some measurements. Now, the color wheel I'm gonna go off is 12 different colors. So I need 12 even sections going around, and I've already marked it out. It's not perfect, you know, they're out by a couple of mil here and there, in with the precision and the accuracy already, obviously. I'm going to have like the base color going through the middle. On one end, it will go into, let's see if I can get this right, shades using black, and then, is it tint or tone? I think it's tint. I'll pop something up on the screen now if I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm sure tone is grey and tint is white. I'm sure of it. In my head, I'm sure of it. Or am I? I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to go with what I think it is. Tone. No, tint. Wait. Now I'm confused. Shade, tint. Anyway, I'm going to add black paint to get to that end of it and white paint to get to that end of it. Does that make sense? I don't think I'm explaining it very well. So how about I just get measuring on this thing and let's get on with it. Before I start marking out the lines, I need to do a quick tester to see how the paint adheres to the surface of this globe. I've got 2 types of paint I want to test. The first are some Montmartre satin acrylics that I've used quite a bit. I like them for their price. They're not brilliant, but are decently opaque and are very thick. The next are some paints I've not used before. They are Folk Art matte acrylic paints that I actually bought to paint on clay sculptures, as I saw Ace of Clay recommend them once in a video. Not sure how they're going to go on this surface, but I'll give them a test run and see. I'll use the blues for the tester, starting off with the Montmartre. It's a beautiful shade of blue, but probably too light for this. The darker one is the Folk Art, which is probably more the colour I'm after, so I'll pop down some other Montmartre shades. These two are the best, I think. The top is the Folk Art, the bottom is the Montmartre, and after 2 coats, neither are scratching off, and the opaqueness between the 2 brands is similar, but the Folk Art is going down smoother and has less streaks, so I'll go with the Folk Art. Now, I've got my measurements at the top, bottom, and middle of the globe. That was a mission and a half. So now I will run washi tape top to bottom for 6 of the sections, ensuring I press down firmly along the edge that will be painted so I get a nice clean line. With all that taped up, I then measure top to bottom and divide it into 7 sections. The middle section is for the base colour, then 3 sections on one side for the shades and 3 sections on the other side for the tints. And yes, I've checked now and am confident adding white is tint, not tone. It's time to mix up some paints, but I have a problem. All my palettes desperately need a good clean, so off to the kitchen sink. At this point, I'm still not 100% sure what my game plan is. I start by laying down the blue with its 3 tints and 3 shades. Then I have to decide if I like it with a defined line between them, or if I want to blend them together and make kind of a gradient from top to bottom. I wish I had someone with a more capable artistic mind than my own to ask advice from, but as I don't, I just have to make the call myself. And I decide that while the defined colours will look more like a colour wheel, the blended gradient will be more aesthetically pleasing. Plus, in some peculiar part of my brain, I think it will be easier to do. I really have no idea what I've gotten myself into. Here are my 7 sections, and looking back now in the magical land of editing and hindsight, I wish I'd left the sections defined, not blended. But hey, I can't go back unless I paint over the whole thing with gesso and start again, but that's not happening today. I start roughly blending this base coat. I must say this blue went down beautifully and was the most opaque out of all the paints I used. I was loving the Folk Art paints at this stage. I'll hate on them a little later. At the end, when the whole project is done, I can definitely tell that this was my starting point, as my blending in the blue was terrible, and I got better as I progressed through the colours. Nice to see I do improve as I go. I have to say, this whole project of making a 3D colour wheel was actually a great learning experience for me. I learned about colours, blending, mixing paint, how much white I need to tint, and how much black I don't need to shade. Ugh, such a gross colour there. It's at this point I'm realising how much extra time 7 different shades of 12 colours is going to take. So much time. My expectation of finishing this in a couple of days is now out of the question, and my other idea of painting a galaxy is so damn appealing right now. But I've come this far, I'm invested in this 3D colour wheel idea, so I have to see it through. And those 7 different yellows look like I've just painted all the same yellow colour. But a few more coats and adjustments to the paint will fix that. Sort of. By the red, I've realised the blue was the best of the bunch. The yellow paint was translucent and the red is no better. And this is where I start to hate these paints. I'm regretting choosing them. I'm regretting buying them. I can't even believe Ace of Clay recommended them. Having a little flashback to another YouTuber using them and calling them okay, but I can't be sure where and who. I don't know. All I know is they are not cutting it for me. But wait till a little later because I might change my mind. With the primary colours done, it's on to getting the secondary base coat down. And this is where I made a weird choice. I knew in my head I should probably mix up my own secondary colours from the primaries I used so that the hue, not sure if that's the correct term, would be accurate. But the thought of having to mix more paint on top of what I've done already and knowing what I still had to come, I just used pre-mixed orange, purple and green straight out of the bottle. Once the base is down, on to the second and third coats where I blend them. It really is just mix, paint, blend, rinse and repeat. And repeat. And repeat. Woohoo! I am halfway and it's time to remove some tape. Oh, so satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well that just ruined it. I washi tape up the next 6 sections and decide to bust out my old mate gesso. I finally realised that painting over black is not the most intelligent decision I've ever made, and think painting over white will mean less coats and hopefully speed up the process. Then I need to mix up the territory colours? That sounds right, doesn't it? Wait, just let me check. Yes, territory colours or intermediate colours. In all my art knowledge wisdom, I decide to use the secondary paints mixed with the primaries, rather than mixing just the primaries. And my reasoning behind it is because I'm worried that the hue... Wait, let me check I'm using that term correctly too. Yeah, I think hue is the correct term to be using. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, because the hue of my secondary paints I chose won't be true to the primaries I used, I feel like the secondary colours will look off against the territories. Does anything I'm saying right now make any sense? Probably not, but just trust me in this logic. Actually, no, don't trust me. I seriously suggest questioning everything I do in this video. Case in point, I like these folk art paints again now. Since putting the gesso on first, they are working way better. So I'd take back all the beef I had with them earlier. We are down to the last 3 colours. So let's skip through these real quick. Here we have blue purple or blue violet. Then blue green. And finally yellow green. I'm finally done painting, but I've just realised this is not a 3D colour wheel. It's a freaking beach ball. Let's all pretend I haven't just spent all my spare time over the last 2 weeks painting a globe to look like a beach ball, shall we? Now it's just time to remove the tape, do some touch-ups and a coat of varnish. Later, it didn't turn out perfect, but it's colourful, it's fun, it's got the full spectrum of colours. I kind of wish I could do the whole thing again, just because now I've done it, I've learnt all the mistakes and how to do it better, but hey, it is what it is. Some of the things that I wish I could go back and fix, in the seam lines you can see just a bit of white from the gesso. I wish I just painted the whole thing with gesso first. I tried to initially paint over the black, which it took a lot of coats of paint and the colours didn't pop as much. I don't know why I thought I could just paint over the black. I don't know, the reasoning in my head sometimes I don't understand. I did eyeball it when I added the black and the white paint for the shading and the tint. That probably wasn't the best idea. I shouldn't have been winging it. I should have measured. To make sure the shading was the same amount for all the colours, and same there, but whatever. But overall, I'm happy enough with it. It's a really nice pop of colour in my art room, so let's make a spot for it on the shelf. Right there, I reckon. We'll set it to that colour. Yeah, there we go. I didn't get to paint the other Ikea items. I do want to do them in a later video. I hope you'll join me then. I'll catch you around.